Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's healing room. So glad you were able to join tonight. And if you weren't able to join, then I'm glad that you got the replay. And also, don't forget that if you're watching this later or if you see any of my posts, you can just drop peace in the chats, DM me, and I will automatically send you a recap guide of what we talked about tonight. So, tonight is going to be a great topic every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Join me in the healing room. I'm a licensed therapist, and I wanted to share what are some of the most common things that we talk about on this healing journey. So, tonight's topic is being strong is why you stayed, but it's also why you left. So, we're going to talk about why do we stay? Why do we stay in a relationship with a narcissist? There's so many reasons that I stayed in a relationship, a 30-year marriage to a narcissist. 35 years total. We dated for 5 years before the relationship. All the red signs, red flags happened prior to marriage. But those are the things we overlook when we want to see the good. And that's why we stay. We want to see the good. But let's really break this down. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for my loyal guests. I see you and I appreciate you. And I would love to hear your comments. Send me your likes. Let me know if this conversation is helpful for you. I don't want to just sit here and preach, but I do want to share my personal experience with you. And I want to give you an opportunity to use this space for your own healing journey as well. So tonight is about why we stay and why we leave. Being strong is why we stayed, but it's also why we leave. And the thing about it is we don't always find the strength when we need it. Endurance isn't the only kind of strength. Sometimes strength is in walking away. And I want to emphasize that a lot of times we wait until we feel strong. Let's say we recognize that this is an unhealthy relationship. We recognize that I'm not safe in this relationship. I knew it for so long. But again, we hold on to hope. We're hoping they'll change. We're hoping we didn't make a mistake. That's a big part of the challenge is accepting that part of the reason why we're even in this relationship is because we saw something in them and we wanted this relationship. And so it leaves us blaming ourselves. It leaves us feeling guilty for our choices. So the strength comes in the doing because if we keep waiting until we feel strong enough, that's how we end up in the marriage, in the relationship. Myself personally, for 30 years, I kept waiting for the right time. So staying quiet doesn't make us strong, but speaking up does. Our voice is our power. But listen, this is not easy. We lost our voice. We lost ourself in this relationship. And so we don't just wake up one morning and say, you know what? I don't have to do this. I'm gonna it just doesn't work that way. And I'm so thankful. I say this a lot because I really mean it. I'm so thankful that I know this and that I'm speaking from experience. And it helps me not just as a therapist, but as a person to not be one of those people who say, well, why didn't she just leave? Well, why don't you just leave? If you're not happy, just leave. I did an interview. I do interviews on my YouTube channel, and I did an interview with my younger brother, and he said that. He said, I just figured if you were unhappy, you would leave. And so staying actually is a false sense of strength. I did feel strong for staying. I did feel strong because I could handle this. I could handle him. I could handle his behaviors. There's so many of them. I tried to pick one. I couldn't. That was my strength. And other people recognized it too. I can't tell you how many people came to me and said, girl, you are a strong woman to stay with him. And in my case, my narcissist was an overt narcissist. So I wasn't the only one who saw his arrogance, his need for attention, his inflated ego. I wasn't the only one to see it. He flaunted it. He was proud of it. So that was my experience with an overt narcissist, but a covert narcissist is going to present much more subtly. And so you will be perceived as lucky to be with this person. Whereas myself in a relationship, in a marriage with an overt narcissist, they pitied me. They were like, oh, you poor thing. How do you put up with him? But yet there was still strength in that because I could handle him. I can handle this. I could tell him, honey, stop. Just honey. And, that was my thing. I would always say, honey, honey, honey. Kick him under the table because he's being loud and boisterous and he's being aggressive and disrespectful to other people in his own joking way. Everything was a joke. So I stayed because I can handle this. And people looked at me as, wow, you are just to be able to put up with all of him, all of his personality. He was so big. He was so big in his personality that everyone could see that it took a strong person to be able to put up with him. So that's where I got validation from that kind of attention. So these are things that I'm learning or had learned about myself when I was moving toward recognizing that the strength that I think I have, I'm using it in the wrong way. In fact, I'm using it for his benefit and not mine. I thought holding it all together made me special, made me look strong and look, like I had something special because I could handle this personality. And the other people that he was putting down and just asserting himself over, I was the one who was special because I was his wife. So says a lot about what I was getting out of the relationship. And listen, guys, this is something that it takes a lot of courage to dig deep and ask yourself, how are you benefiting or how had you been benefiting in this relationship? It takes two to be in the relationship. And I say this all the time. It's the 50-50 rule. 50% is about them, but the other 50% is about you. So the moment I walked away, that's when I realized that was me choosing me. That was me not wanting to any longer lose my identity in him. I finally chose myself. And that process is not an easy process. And that's why we find the strength in the doing. Waiting to feel strong, we wait a long time for that because it's scary, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar. This is not something that we can see as a good thing because we're used to avoiding conflict. We're used to managing their moods. We're used to keeping the peace. So this is something that is not easy. So let's talk about what survival mode strength looks like. The version of me that stayed, not recognizing that this was me living and functioning in survival mode. The version of me that stayed, I was over functioning for everyone else. I was performing for everyone else to be the good wife, to be the good mother, to be the career mom who could do it all. Wife, children, the home, the career, the finances. I handled it all. I could do it all. I was so strong. But I was over functioning, walking on eggshells. That is the version of us that stays in survival mode. We are smiling when we're not happy, suppressing our feelings. We confuse tolerance with resilience. I can honestly say that that's how I live my life, is tolerating. tolerating, but it gets confused with resilience. Absolutely. I thought I was strong for being able to tolerate. So, thank you for the question in the chat. How do you deal with the fear of leaving and all the unknowns that are to follow? And that is another reason why we stay, because of the fear of the unknown. That's an excellent question. The only way to leave a narcissist is to walk right into the unknown. It's like walking through a door where on the other side, for all you know, it's a cliff and you could fall right off. It's like walking through a door and you close the door behind you and there's complete darkness. You don't know where you've landed. That's what it feels like, but that's exactly what we get to the point where we're willing to do just that. We have to realize or get to a place in the relationship where we can't take it anymore and we don't have a choice. That is the brink that I was pushed to. And I call it a rock bottom. We all have a rock bottom and we will stay until we hit rock bottom, guaranteed. My rock bottom was when his disrespectful behavior was so blatant and hurtful and painful. Not that there hadn't been disrespectful behavior before, but this time was different. And I say different only because what made it different is my eyes. It opened my eyes. And that's what a rock bottom does. It opens your eyes. And when I say open your eyes, I mean, I can't fix this. I can't fix him. I can't change him. This really happened after all the time that we've been together. He is willing to treat me in this way. I don't feel safe. I don't feel loved. I don't feel protected. That was my out. And that's the point that I needed to get to step out of survival mode and into self-preservation mode. So the version of me that left, setting boundaries was terrifying. And when I say terrifying, I'm not terrifying meaning, how's he going to react? What am I going to have to deal with? How am I going to manage his response, his reaction? What am I going to have to do? What am I going to say? Setting boundaries with someone who is used to controlling you is scary. It's difficult. We avoid a fight. We avoid their anger. We avoid their rejection. We avoid the abandonment that comes by the way of the silent treatment for some. For me, it was the opposite. We weren't allowed to. He did the opposite of the silent treatment. It was, we don't stay mad. We don't go to bed mad. And after any argument, he would say, give me a kiss. And that was his way of, I'm in control. Give me a kiss. So you're not allowed to be mad. Get over it. Just a complete denial of my feelings. So the version of you that leaves is the one who has stopped explaining yourself. So think about this. These are things that you're doing before you actually physically leave. I want to make sure that I'm making clear that leaving is not just the physical act of leaving. I'm talking about the emotional protection. I'm talking about the mental protection, the psychological protection. That's when you start to leave. I just posted a reel today about the new version of me who left. And I'll never forget that when I started leaving, meaning no longer being manipulated by him, he said to me, I don't like the new Marcia. And I thought, wow, because I'm actually getting better. in terms of stronger emotionally, feeling better about myself, feeling like that scary door that who knows what's on the other side of it is not so scary right now. Like, I still don't know what's on the other side of it, but I am willing to find out. And that's when he said, I don't like the new Marcia. And I'll never forget that, because what he really meant is I don't like that I can't control you the way I'm used to. And you're not acting in the way that I've trained you. He actually said that at one point. I trained you better than this. Gosh, there's some things that were said that when we are surviving, it's something that we are conditioned to not react to. But in our healthier selves, you look back and you just say, wow. Wow. He said, I trained you better than that. And that's when I was leaving, because he always said we don't do divorce. So these are things that we're conditioned over time to accept. And being strong literally means surviving. We are surviving. We're in survival mode. So I hope I answered that question. Please drop your questions in the chat. If you can relate to what I'm saying, drop a heart, share your comments. I just want to let you know that you're not alone. If you are still in the relationship and you have reasons as to why you're staying, those reasons are valid and they're not to be judged, but they can be challenged. When we stay for the kids, that was the healing room topic last week. When we stay for the kids, when we stay for finances, when we stay because we've never been alone before. I literally left and was so uncomfortable with being alone that after 3 months, I let him come move in with me, and I had left. So this is a very difficult path. This healing journey is difficult because manipulation is abuse. And even that is a journey to get to that word. I would never have said that word before the last 5 years of my marriage. I would have never said that I was being abused. And now what I know and what I teach, it's abuse at the highest level. And it always was, but again, in survival mode, we can only accept what our brain will allow us to accept in order to maintain our environment for the children, for finances. I mean, I literally, at our 29th anniversary, which I call it our fake anniversary because by that time it was over. At our 29th anniversary, I said to myself in a moment, I said, you know what? What's another 30 years? If I can do this for 30 years, I know him so well. What's another 30 years? I can handle it. I'm strong. I was so strong that I was willing in that moment to surrender the rest of my life to serving someone who didn't respect me in return. And that is the power and control that they have over you in this relationship. But it doesn't mean we're weak. It means we love. We're empathetic. We're empathetic. We care. And I would never tell you not to care. Well, sorry, I actually have a reel that's called I Don't Care. That is an emotional detachment coping skill to begin to say, I don't care. And what you're saying, I don't care about, I know I've gone off on a tangent, bear with me. What you're saying, I don't care about is this is how you detach emotionally, which keeps you from being manipulated. But that's another topic. So we care about them. We love them. And I always say it in my support groups. We're not here to bash the narcissist. I still love him to this day. I will admit, but I love myself more. That's the key. Okay, question is, and I agree, how crazy the mind works. It's fascinating. Question in the chat is, how do you recognize you've hit rock bottom? Great question. When you can't ignore or unsee what you've seen, because that's how we've survived, is denial. I always say denial was my very best friend, but that's how we survive. We survive in denial, justifying, rationalizing, overlooking, forgiving. And there comes a time, maybe even a day, maybe even a moment where you say, I can't do that right now. Like my brain won't let me, my heart won't let me do that right now. The veil of denial has been removed, and you literally, it feels like life or death. I'm going to put it that dramatically. It feels like life or death when you hit rock bottom. And so it might be an experience that you've experienced a million times before. But this time my eyes are so open that I can't close them. I can't close them. That's when you know. That's when you find the strength. And that doesn't mean it's not scary anymore. I think it'll always be scary. Every step I took was scary. And I even took 10 steps back at one point. Baby steps. Even the 10 steps back is progress because you made the 2 steps forward. This journey, ups and downs, ups and downs. And we have to give ourselves compassion. We have to give ourselves grace because it is not easy, but it is doable. And that's why I will do what I'm doing today, every day for the rest of my life. Because if I can do it, so can you. But guess what? I understand that it's going to be in your time, not mine, not your family, not your friends, not anyone who says you should leave. It's going to be in your time, and no one else is going to get it. No one else is going to understand it but you. It makes it a lonely journey, but I'm so thankful that my family never judged me. They just left me alone. They were like, okay, if that's what she wants to do, they just left me be. And as soon as I left, they were right there for me. And I'm so thankful for my support system. And that is what we all need, is a support system. So I created the Passage to Peace, a healing community that is here for you at any stage in your healing journey. If you go to my website, thepassagetopeace.com, you can take a free quiz that will tell you what healing stage you're in. I created the 5 stages of peace, and each letter in the word peace stands for a stage. I would love to share that with you. It's a free masterclass. This is just my mission because I know it can be done, but it's going to be done in your time. Make sure that your support system allows you to be where you are. And when you're ready, and even if you fall back 5 steps, they're there for you. That's the support you need. And that's the support I want to give you tonight, every Monday night, every day. So if you're in that place right now, questioning whether it's strong to leave, whether you feel it or not, I want you to know it's not weakness to stop surviving. It's strength to start healing. It's not weakness. So thank you for being here with me tonight. If you missed any part of this, there will be a replay. And in the replay, drop peace in my DMs, and I will send you a recap guide just so that you can tuck it away and help you on this journey. I want to meet you where you are. You deserve that. You've been strong long enough. I want you to know that you've been surviving, and it's not weakness to stop surviving. You will find the strength in the doing. Take one scary step forward at a time. No backup plan. No backup plan. Once your eyes are opened, you will see that there is only one way to go, and that is forward. Thank you so much. I want to help you in any way that I can. Your journey is my journey. So thank you so much. Take care and be blessed.